Nutrition science, nutrient needs of athletes. Nutrition is essential to your performance during all types of exercise. As an athlete, the foods consumed in your diet are used to provide the body with enough energy and specific nutrients to fuel an activity and maximize performance. Athletes have different nutritional needs than the general population in order to support their vigorous activity levels in both practice and competition. We'll explore the specific nutrient needs of athletes and how they differ from the nutrient needs of less active individuals. Energy needs. To determine an athlete's nutritional needs, it's important to revisit the concept of energy metabolism. Energy intake is the foundation of an athlete's diet because it supports optimal body functions, affects intake of macronutrients and micronutrients, and assists in maintaining body composition. Energy needs for athletes increase depending on their energy expenditure. The amount of energy expended during physical activity is contingent on the intensity, duration, and frequency of the exercise. Competitive athletes may need 3,000 to over 5,000 calories daily compared to a typical inactive individual who needs about 2,000 calories per day. Energy needs are also affected by an individual's sex, age, and weight. Weight-bearing exercises such as running burn more calories per hour than non-weight-bearing exercises such as swimming, since weight-bearing exercises require your body to move against gravity. Additionally, men typically burn more calories than women for the same activity, because men have more muscle mass, which requires more energy to support and move around. Macronutrient needs. The composition of macronutrients in the diet is a key factor in maximizing performance for athletes. As discussed on the previous page, carbohydrates, fat, and protein can all be utilized for energy production during exercise, though the amount utilized for each nutrient varies depending on the intensity and duration of the exercise. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are an important fuel source for the brain and muscle during exercise. Carbohydrate storage in the liver and muscle is relatively limited, and therefore it is important for athletes to regularly consume enough carbohydrates from their diet. Carbohydrate needs should increase about 3 to 10 grams per kilogram per day, depending on the athlete's type and level of training and competition. Fat is a necessary component of a healthy diet to provide energy and non-essential fatty acids and to facilitate the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. Athletes are recommended to consume the same amount of fat in the diet as the general population, 20 to 35% of their energy intake. Although these recommendations are in accordance with public health guidelines, athletes should individualize their needs based on their training level and body composition goals. Fat intakes below 20% of energy intake will reduce the availability of fat-soluble vitamins and essential fatty acids, especially omega-3 fatty acids. Protein. Although protein accounts for only 5% of the energy expended, dietary protein is necessary to support metabolic reactions that generate ATP, which rely heavily on proteins such as enzymes and transport proteins. Additional protein also helps muscles with maintenance, growth, and repair. For these reasons, athletes have higher protein needs than the general population. It is recommended that athletes consume 1.2 to 2.0 grams per kilogram per day of protein in order to support these functions. Higher intakes may also be needed for short periods of intense training or when reducing energy intake. It is important to consume adequate amounts of protein and to understand that the quality of the protein consumed affects the amount needed. Complete protein foods such as meats, dairy, and eggs contain all the essential amino acids in relative amounts that most efficiently meet the body's needs for growth, maintenance, and repair of muscles. Vegetarian diets contain mostly incomplete protein sources, which have lower digestibility and amino acid patterns that do not match human needs as closely as most animal proteins. To compensate for this, vegetarian athletes need to consume more dietary protein than non-vegetarians and should target the upper end of the recommended protein intake. In addition to the amount and quality of proteins consumed, timing of protein intake has been shown to impact muscle protein synthesis. Studies show that the synthesis of muscle protein is optimized with high-quality protein consumption after exercise. Ideally 15 to 25 grams of protein in the early recovery phase after a workout or 0 to 2 hours after exercise. A similar amount of protein should be consumed every 3 to 5 hours, spread out across the day over multiple meals within the 24 hours post-workout, so that amino acids are always available for optimal protein synthesis. One recommended strategy is to aim for 0.4 grams per kilogram per meal across 4 meals in order to reach 1.6 grams per kilogram per day for muscle synthesis. Although athletic training increases protein needs, athletes can meet their protein requirement through high-quality food sources, and most do not need to consume protein supplements. Here are some examples of snacks or small meals that contain at least 15 to 25 grams of protein. A half cup of granola plus a quarter cup of almonds equals 16 grams of protein. A 7-ounce Greek yogurt, a peanut butter sandwich, 2 scrambled eggs and a cup of milk, a 3-ounce can of tuna, and a turkey and cheese sandwich. These whole food options have the benefit of coming packaged with other nutrients, including carbohydrates to replenish glycogen stores, fiber, and micronutrients, and are often less costly than most protein supplements. Like all dietary supplements, protein shakes and other supplements are not well regulated. Some contain unnecessary additives, such as sweeteners and herbs, and some have been found to contain unsafe levels of heavy metals like arsenic and mercury. Protein supplements do have the benefit of being convenient and shelf-stable. If you choose a protein supplement, look for one certified by a third-party testing organization and with simple ingredient list. Nutrition science, nutrient needs of athletes. Nutrition is essential to your performance during all types of exercise. As an athlete, the foods consumed in your diet are used to provide the body with enough energy and specific nutrients to fuel an activity and maximize performance. Athletes have different nutritional needs than the general population in order to support their vigorous activity levels in both practice and competition. We'll explore the specific nutrient needs of athletes and how they differ from the nutrient needs of less active individuals. Energy needs. To determine an athlete's nutritional needs, it's important to revisit the concept of energy metabolism. Energy intake is the foundation of an athlete's diet because it supports optimal body functions, affects intake of macronutrients and micronutrients, and assists in maintaining body composition.